Hey, it's that Skydive Sim guy here today with my guest, Nick Carter. How are you, Nick?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. You and I actually met, on Facebook or in the multiplayer sessions?
In the multiplayer sections, actually, yeah.
I thought so, yeah. Tell me a little bit about your background.
The background, I've kind of been into the action sports since I was a little kid. Started skiing at about 4 years old. Got into snowboarding at 15. Mountain biking, wakeboarding, kiteboarding, all that stuff before I kind of found skydiving and focused more on that.
Yeah, and how long ago was that?
First tandem was in 2012.
Oh, wow. So you started in the sport a while back. When did you get licensed?
Licensed September 2023.
Okay, so you waited a while between that first tandem.
Yeah, it was young. A bunch of our buddies all went together to go do the tandem thing. And then it was always in the back of my mind as something I wanted to do myself, but just didn't have the time or the funds allocated for it until got older and got a real job sort of thing.
It definitely helps to be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, skydiving's somewhat expensive, right?
Worth every penny, though.
That's cool. So you got licensed in September 2023, you say?
Sir.
How many jumps you're at now?
1,886 jumps.
Oh, wow. Cool. So you have a B license then?
B license, yeah, that's correct.
B license. And is it USPA?
Yes, sir.
Or, okay, you're in, I think you're northeast of us. Are you in Canada?
I am, yeah. I'm in the Maritimes, Nova Scotia.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
It's cold, actually, most of the time.
It is, huh? So how often do you get to jump being cold over there?
Usually during the wintertime, I'll try to make at least like 2 trips down to Florida, do the snowbird thing, but I actually play in the sky as opposed to the rest of those snowbirds that fake it down there.
I see. So you travel quite a bit then for it?
Yeah, actually, their home DZ is Skydive New England, so that's down in Maine, and me and my girlfriend, we both jump there. So we make the drive. It's about 8.5, 9-hour drive down there, but we have a camper down there too. So it's like a home away from home for us.
So you kind of stay for the weekend or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Exactly. We'll try to do a couple weekends a month, and maybe if we can do like a full long week sort of thing, if we can line it up with their schedules. That's
pretty cool, man. So how did you hear about Skydive Sim?
I believe I was just looking through the Oculus store one day, like becoming a newly licensed skydiver and just being adamant about it. I wanted to see if there was anything that would kind of help me scratch that itch when I couldn't jump, and stumbled across it. It was in the earlier stages too, before you had implemented even the rocket hands or the power to the...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you say September 23, it was after you got licensed, I take it, that you looked?
Yeah.
Or was it around the time?
Yeah.
So it was just getting to a point where we just introduced the newer physics probably at that point. Yeah, so it was way back there. Yeah. It's a lot has happened since.
Oh, big time. Yeah. It's cool to see how much you put into it and taken the feedback and implemented it as well. It's awesome.
For sure. I've been lucky to get feedback from people like you that are skydivers, Brian Germain, that, he's been a legend in the skydiving world for a long time. So I take all the feedback, and it's a passion project for me. So, of course, I want it to be better and better.
Absolutely.
It's always nice to talk to other skydivers and get their feedback. Sometimes it's things I can't think of everything, It's like, you should do this. It's like, okay, that sounds like something we can do for sure. So you do the Wednesday nights with Brian a lot, huh?
Yeah, I try to make it in every one that we've done so far. I think I might have missed one since we started doing the Wednesday meetups, but yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. Tell me more about it. By amazing, you're saying it helps skills or just fun?
Just having someone to have a canopy with in the sky, like in real life, is more fun in the video game too, because you have that relativity to actually know what your inputs are doing. And then
definitely
having Brian lead the groups it's amazing to have a world-renowned coaching us through these amazing mountainous terrains.
I know. I really love doing those because in real world, I don't think I would get as close to the mountain as I do in the sim, because it's like, I don't know about this, but Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Brian always finds these really cool places for us to all fly in, which is pretty nice.
He's always throwing little tidbits of information just to add us here and there to keep us sharp and on our toes.
Well, that's true. And also, I noticed he's like an awesome tour guide. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
he's showing us, okay, there's this glacier, there's that, we're going to do this. I mean, I don't know anybody else that can pull all that off
Mhm.
in a session. It's pretty informative.
Yeah, and just the like the canopy formation flying too, like just being able to have someone that's the base, and then he'll be able to coach us on getting on the same level, so we can actually fly in a formation and what type of maneuvers that you'd be able to do to make that happen.
That's very true. I feel like I've gotten better just by being in those sessions myself as well. I've done some real world canopy with one other person normally, but like do a high pull and just kind of follow each other all the way down. But this is definitely on a different level because there's a bunch of us and just following each other and trying to stay together is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing some more high pulls this summer after learning this new skill set in the VR that'll translate into the canopy flight.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing to do. I need to do the same thing actually. Now that I think about it, I've been spending too much time in VR. I feel like just because I just keep wanting to improve the game.
Yeah.
So tell me about your initial thoughts when you first found Skydive Sim on the Meta Store.
Like I said, when I first got it, it was in the earlier stages. So there wasn't as many sort of activities you could do with other people or with the Google Earth integration. So a lot of the time I was just kind of
Right.
finding myself flying around solo, just wishing that there was other people with me to kind of enjoy the game with. And
Yeah.
now that that's been integrated, it makes things a lot more enjoyable. I find just everything's fun with friends, right?
It is a lot more fun with friends. That's why we added the AI
Those guys are
skydivers,
crazy though,
but
man.
they are. They're just kind of like they're just erratic. It's kind of fun trying to follow them. Sometimes you just see them all doing like circles around each other. It's pretty cool.
Really entertaining watching them try to land.
Have you tried Skydive Sim? Because some people have told me they try it before they go to a new drop zone, for example. Have you done anything like that with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this trip before, well, it wasn't the first time going to a drop zone, but this most recent trip I made to Zephyr Hills in Florida, I did a few jumps leading up to that trip, and it really helped me dial in my accuracy. Like I landed in the T's 4 or 5 times, I think, on this past trip.
Yeah.
And before that, I was always, I don't know, 30, 40 feet coming up short sort of thing. But now that I've had more practice and kind of can adjust for those fall rates and glide paths, so it really makes a big learning tool and helps out that way.
That's very good to hear. Which preset do you use, or did you dial in your own?
I've just been using the intermediate preset.
Yeah, that's pretty much my favorite. I feel like it's a good. It's not too slow, but it's not way too fast for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been tempted to mess around and try to dial in my own glide path, but it just seems so much closer to what I'm actually flying now with the intermediate. So I don't think I really need to mess with it too much.
Yeah, that's the one definitely. And then we have the advanced and expert. Expert one was designed by a friend of mine that he's a super at my local drop zone. And he came by one day and he just kind of, because I have no idea what advanced or even advanced or expert canopy would feel like.
Yeah,
The intermediate is also like similar to what I fly. I'm at 1.3.
yeah,
So
similar. I'm at like 1.3, well, 1.4 after Christmas eating.
yeah, it's funny you say that. I always say that, make that joke as well, because it's like just depends on what I've been eating. Yeah, and also, winter time, I definitely gain some weight. So when I go back, I'm like, man, this canopy feels fast. It's not the canopy though, right? It's just us.
It's a cheap way to downsize.
So tell me about I guess not your first jump, but when you went back, tell me about that experience.
Uh, when I went back from Mhm.
And I'm guessing you went back in 2023 to get your
Oh,
license.
okay. Yeah. When I
So
first,
not the 2012, but let's talk about like when you first went back to say,
oh, okay.
okay, I'm ready. Tell
Yeah,
me about that.
that was a life changing experience. Like you ask any licensed skydiver or anyone who's ever been in the sky before, that first jump with your own parachute on your own back, you kind of question all of your life decisions up to that point.
Yeah.
The whole ride up, I was just, yeah, I was really focused on my breathing and just like hyper focused. I'm sure if you looked in my eyes, I was probably just like staring off into the distance. But yeah, it was one of those things that I've always wanted to do, sort of thing. So I was scared, but I was also confident at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Until
It does.
started seeing people spill out the door, and then it like really hit home. And when it was my turn, it was clamped onto that door frame pretty tight until it was time to leave.
Yeah. So I have a similar experience. My tandems were not that far apart from my actual getting licensed. It was like maybe a month apart
Okay.
after my first one. But yeah, I remember I actually have the video still somewhere. The look on my face on that first jump is just like, oh, I'm about to do this. And, it's funny because I was the only one from ground school that day. The ground school went long and no, they said, if you want, you can come back. And I thought, if I don't do this today, I may not come back. I want to do it. And they only had one sky van going up with all instructors doing this giant group jump. And it was me and my instructor after them. And it's like, they go and my instructor walks to the back of the plane and it's a little different. I don't know if you've been on a sky van.
Yeah.
The back opens up. It's similar to what we have in the sim.
That was your very first AFF jump out of the back of the sky van.
Exactly.
Awesome.
I know. And I wish they kept that sky van because I've been wanting to jump that ever since, but I haven't been able to. But yeah, it's like as soon as we went out, my legs start kicking, of course, and you forget everything they teach you.
It's all
like,
gone at the window.
just relax. But no, everything's just gone. I'm like, I got to grab on something. but you finally realize, okay, just relax, and then everything slows down, right?
Yeah, literally.
Did you have that experience too, by the way? Did you have the legs kicking, or is that just
absolutely?
me?
Yeah, I was swimming in the air for sure when I first left the plane.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that about Skyvan AFF too, because I got to do an AFF jump out of the Skyvan as well down in Zephyr Hills. It was, I think, category D, maybe.
Yeah.
But it was the same sort of situation. There was a big group of people that were leaving the plane right before us, and then we walked to the back, turned around, and faced to the front of the plane, and then we just took a step back out the plane and watched it fly away. It was a wild sensation.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it for that first jump because the plane's moving and they're telling me you just jump up, and I'm like, well, I'm going to fall back in the plane. No, you won't. Don't worry about it. As soon as you lift, you're going to be gone. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit tough to imagine, but man, now I feel like I just want to jump from the back of those things and just kind of like just dive out like into a swimming pool,
Yeah, it'd be fun to try that now after getting some more experience in the wind.
Yeah, for sure. I've been to Skydive Paris. They have a sky van there, but it's always being used by military, it seems like. I've been there a couple of times and I'm like, can I jump on the sky van? They're like, no, it's being used.
It'd be cool to jump out of their jet too. That would be quite a sensation.
Oh, yeah. I've been wanting to do that. That would be pretty cool. It's almost the same thing, right? It's just a lot tighter in the back.
Yeah.
You don't have as much room.
Just a single little door, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I did a balloon jump over there as well. That was, but I was out there and I found out they're doing a balloon jump the next morning. So I got on that load and they drop you over that drop zone, which was pretty cool. Yeah, balloon jumps are fun. Have you done balloon or helicopter yet?
I've done the balloon only in the VR. I did do a helicopter jump last summer at Skydive New England, though. That was...
It's fun, huh?
It's an amazing sensation. Yeah, just that dead air fall is Something
Yeah.
to
So
everyone should be
balloon
part
is
of.
almost the same thing, except it's not as loud.
Hmm.
It's like you're just hovering and it's almost like you're jumping off a platform. I was a bit intimidated, I will say, but this was right around after I think I was about 206 jumps or something at that point. And it was my first time jumping off a balloon. I'm walking over. I'm like, this feels different. There's something different about it. But you just let go and it's like, okay, you just pick up that speed and then it feels normal again because
Yeah.
you hear all the wind sound going past
It would
you.
almost be really peaceful at first, just without the airplane or blade wash.
Yeah, exactly. It's quiet. That I think that's what was going through my head, that something's different. What this isn't right, Amir.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any experience with any other skydiving simulators yet?
Actually, yeah. I continued my AFF program. I started in Z Hills and finished it at Skydive New England. And in Skydive New England, they had access to the Skydive VR program.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they had
yeah.
the paid subscription to that or whatever. So that was my first real experience, I believe, with the VR skydiving.
How was that?
It was interesting. It was cool because like the instructor could kind of like pause the action and adjust settings to just kind of show you a projected landing area. Like if you kept this heading and you didn't do anything, you would land here. But if you turned in the
Right.
wind, it would bring it a lot closer. So it was nice to have those kind of visual cues before.
Nice feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually had the Skydive New England as a location that you were jumping at. So just being able to
Right.
identify potential outs and, you know what I mean? Your actual
Yeah.
visuals for the landing pattern.
Yeah, there's definitely something about it. I was mentioning this with Brian the other day too. It's jumping in VR versus looking at Google Earth. It just seems to help so much with identifying and just in your mind putting some landmarks, because you can actually turn in free fall, you can turn under canopy, and you really start building those points for yourself that, okay, I know where I am. I need to turn here and go back. The drop zone's behind me, or if it's to my right or
Helps you to
left.
connect those dots while you're actually in the VR world.
It really does. Now, when you did that over at Skydive New England, was it before you had tried Skydive Sim?
Yeah, that was before.
Okay, cool. Is that part of the reason you thought maybe I should look for a simulator?
Yeah, that definitely sparked my interest for sure. Because I had the headset already beforehand. And it was just, you know what I mean, doing like the shooter games and exploring worlds and all that stuff. But there was an unmet void that I needed to fill.
Yeah, for sure. Did you play Rush?
I've never played Rush yet. No.
Really? Rush is actually, when I got my headset to play around and see what's out there, this is back in, I want to say 2019, which is around the time I was starting to think about creating Skydive Sim. Rush is a wingsuiting game, but it is a game. It's not true to life physics or anything like that, but it's a lot of fun. You're racing basically against these other wingsuiters.
Okay.
So I remember playing that, and I would do it standing at first. And then one time I'm in the middle of the living room and I ran into a cliff and I'm like, ah. My girlfriend at the time, she's like, what happened? I'm like, I ran into a cliff. So that's a lot of fun. And I did almost fall one time just doing that. After that, I tried laying on an ottoman to play, but that didn't work very well. Just trying to get the right positioning. But
funny.
Yeah, if you get a chance, I'd say play that game. It's still a lot of fun to play that game if you're into just the racing aspect of it makes it a lot of fun. They want you to get real close to the terrain and fly to get extra points and stuff. So you mentioned in the beginning about how you've always been into extreme sports, things like that. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Okay. Are you still doing a lot of that?
Yeah, still snowboarding every winter. It helps me pass by the cold months when I can't get out and play in the sky. And mountain biking in the summertime helps scratch that adrenaline itch too as well.
Yeah. So you mountain bike in the actual mountains, or?
Yeah, I've done a few trips. I used to live out in British Columbia and Alberta, so there's a lot of Rocky Mountain areas out there that's where I started riding mountain bikes. But actually, our local ski hill back here in Nova Scotia just put in lift access last summer, so
Oh,
we don't
nice.
have to pedal up the hill anymore. We can be lazy and ride the chairlift and just save all the
Yeah, we
energy for the
have some
downhill.
of those actually. I have a friend that takes his kids all the time, and he tells me it's just like skis. They just put the bike on there and they just go up, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like
I do a lot of mountain biking here, but normally I'm on a just like a trail, but our trails not. I mean, there are trails that are accessible here,
yeah.
which are a little bit more challenging. But normally I just go around the house where it's asphalt, so
Yeah.
it's not true mountain biking.
It's funny since I've got licensed for skydiving, I feel like my mountain biking speed and snowboarding speeds have decreased a little bit just because I don't want to injure myself, so I can't jump anymore.
That's true. Have you had any injuries, by the way,
I've
in skydiving or any
had
of those other sports?
one hard landing last summer, actually. Yeah, it was kind of a gusty day.
Yeah.
And when we took off, the winds were pretty consistent and steady, but like once I was coming in on my final approach, must have been in a gust. And then when I went to flare, it was like the gust was gone and just had no authority or no power whatsoever from about
Yeah.
20, 25 feet. And I just landed straight to my butt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And were you able to walk away from it?
I was able to get up and stand, and I could have walked back, but they brought the golf cart out for me, so I didn't feel like I'd be rude and say I didn't want to take a golf cart ride when there's a golf cart
Makes
there.
sense. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it was definitely one of those scary, once you hit the ground, you kind of wiggle your fingers just to make sure everything works sort of things.
I've been in a few of those. Luckily, I didn't hit the ground, but like as I got closer to the ground, a big gust comes, and then I feel the canopy just kind of collapse and go back.
Mm-hmm.
And another time, I was just elevatoring down, and I'm like, oh man, I got almost no control here. It's just so gusty.
Yeah, not a good
And that was
feeling.
my last one for that day. And after that, it's like I look at the winds. I'm like, is it worth going up if I'm going to be wondering if I'm going to make it or not? That's no fun. And it reminds me, one of my instructors would tell me that during the course, because one day I was like, oh, come on, I want to go. He goes, no, trust me, skydiving is no fun if you're not sure you're going to make it down or not. You don't want to be up there going, oh, I don't know. I don't know. You want to be enjoying this. And I totally get that now. It's a lot more fun.
Absolutely. That's what one of my instructors told me as well. He's like, I'd rather be on the ground wishing I was up there than up there wishing I was on the ground just because the winds aren't
I've heard
favorable.
that. I've heard that saying. And yeah, I mean, I watch people on when I go out there and it's kind of, I mean, I used to go up even if, say, it was cold. Let's say it was one time I remember jumping and it was, I don't know, I want to say it was 20 something on the ground degrees. And and this is right after I had just gotten licensed. So I'm like, I'm going. I don't care. 3 layers of gloves and everything going up there. I didn't care. I just wanted to jump. And now, if it's not sunny and the grass isn't dry, I don't really want to jump because it's like I don't want to get my shoes dirty. It's gonna get muddy.
Yeah, it's like once you get that recently licensed skydiver, they're like you say, just chomping at the bit to get in the sky, and you really got
Yeah,
to take in the advice of others. And like once you see some of the more advanced jumpers deciding to pull themselves off a load, there's a reason why they're pulling themselves off a load. Like it's not just
they've been through it before, right?
exactly, yeah. And after that, that little incident, I'm a lot more hesitant now of the gusts for sure. Like I have no
Yeah,
shame in pulling myself off a load now. It's
yeah,
live to jump
exactly.
another day, right?
Exactly. And I mean, it's still fun watching others and, you know, they're coming down and it normally helps you realize you made the right decision because you see
Absolutely.
somebody elevatoring down. You're like, man, I hope they make it. I hope they make it. You're still getting kind of like nervous about their jump.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm thinking, man, I'm so glad I wasn't on that load right now.
No, you can learn a lot from just watching other people land. That's for sure. I've learned that too.
That's for sure. Yeah, I like watching people land. I like paying close attention to when they're flaring, especially I see more experienced jumpers come in.
Mhm.
I watch their every move very closely. Yeah, it's just helps a lot somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you mentioned your girlfriend is also a skydiver.
Yeah.
Um, Is she also doing the sim with you sometimes, or
Actually,
it's mainly
she
you?
is one of the unfortunate people that gets the motion sickness from the sit,
Oh,
from just putting
yes.
on the goggles, right? She,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to kind of like ease her into some of the more easier programs, I think. Ones
yeah,
that you're not
for
moving
sure.
around as much. I got her to try it one time, and like within 2 minutes, she had to take the goggles off.
Yeah, I've ran into people like that. It's it's not even just Skydive Sim, but Skydive Sim is actually more intense than a lot of other apps
Oh,
because
definitely.
you're moving fast and you're not just moving. It's not like a car racing thing where you're just used to being in a car and going. I mean, you're
It's full
moving
360. Yeah.
down, you're doing 360. I mean, you're doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, you start throwing in the
Uh,
power with those parachutes, and you're doing loops
yeah.
and split
Oh,
S's.
the
And
power is what gets me. It's like that one for sure, because now you're adding another angle to it. And it's like, oh, what's happening to my body here? Or in your mind, you're thinking, what's happening?
yeah, it's good to have a frame of reference to the real world. I think sometimes just like a fan blowing
It
on you, or
is.
just being able to see out the bottom of the goggles.
Yeah, that's very true. That helps a lot. And you've seen I've set up my own simulator hanging harness probably, right?
Seeing that, yeah, that's quite the setup you got going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to take it to the next level. I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do to take it to the next level? And I had stuff hanging from my ceiling before, but I figured not everybody's going to be able to just put hanging points into a stud in the ceiling. What can I do that would make it easier for others? And that's how I came up with that system. And it's been fun. I recorded myself recently from the back and then just rotoscoped everything.
Yeah, that was a
And
cool
I'm
overlay how
like,
you did that.
yeah, it's like I didn't even realize how good it's going to come out until I saw it. I was like, oh, wow, okay, this really gives you the feel of what's happening
Mhm.
in the game,
Yeah.
like in a 2D version of it. That's probably the closest thing you can see. Tell me about any thoughts you might have about either skydive sim, skydiving, anything in general.
Hmm. Well, last night we were actually talking about how it would be cool if there was like a docking feature. So the free fall aspect, you could come in and kind of make some
Yeah.
formations with people. That would be pretty neat. Because right now it makes you work for it to try to get close to someone. That's for sure.
It does, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to learn free fall again
Yeah.
from scratch, because
Without
I remember
legs.
when I started, yeah, when I started, it was like trying to get with a group. After I got licensed, that normally happens to people because you're jumping with the instructor and they stay with you. Then you jump with other new jumpers and everybody's all over the sky. Yeah, up, down, most people backsliding.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things that happens a lot. I feel like in the sim, we all backslide a lot, even though we've adjusted it some to where you get forward motion by bringing hands in just a little bit now, but you can really just bring it back here and you just shoot forward. So there is that in there, but yeah, it's not the same because you're not using your whole body.
Yeah. Makes you work a lot more. Like the wind tunnel that you have put in there on the mountains level too. That one really helps you with your fall
Yeah.
rates, I found.
Yeah, actually, I used to jump in there, and if you want to, like, there was somebody I would just want to talk to, and we're just, let's go in that level, and we just get in the wind tunnel, and we're just hovering and talking there, and just working on the skills because it really just does help you with the hand motions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I don't think so, man. I'm just really happy to be here. Glad that you're making this game what you are, and continue to look forward to seeing the more improvements and how you continue to develop it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I always enjoy talking to other skydivers
Absolutely,
that are
same here.
trying to sim and giving me feedback and stuff. And I will be seeing you on the Wednesday night session soon. I promise I'll be over there.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Samir. You too.